So, welcome back. One issue that comes up quite often in electricity and has come up in a few of my videos in the past is how much electricity are my appliances or my computer or my entire house or apartment, how much electricity is being used? That comes up over and over and over again. And since it's so easy to come up with the answer to that question, I thought I would do a brief video on some tools and techniques that you can use to very quickly get the answers. You can measure a single component like your desktop computer or your laptop or a light or an air conditioner. You can measure that, and you can also very easily measure the total energy usage or power usage of your home or apartment, and you can do it very quickly. So I'm going to give in this video some techniques on how to do that. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is measuring the entire power usage of your home or your apartment. And I've got here an image of the meter that the utility company places on the outside of your home. It brings the power lines in from their power lines and feeds it into your house so you can use the electricity. But it runs it first through a meter that might look like this if you've got an older meter. This is an older style meter. It's a mechanical meter. And you can see it measures kilowatt hours, all right? Thousands of watt hours. And this older mechanical meter has these 5 dials. And it is constantly measuring 24 hours a day how much energy, how many kilowatt hours are being used by your home or your apartment, okay? And if you know how to read this, you can at any point in time figure out how much energy or how much power has been used by your house. And you can do it like measure it every hour, or you can measure it now and then come back in a day and measure it and see how much has been used in 24 hours. You can do it, measure it once a month. The power company, in order to charge you for the electricity you use, in this case, with this electromechanical meter, they send somebody out to your house, and that person goes up to the meter and reads these dials and writes down the number and goes back to the utility and said, okay, the kilowatt hours when I read it this day show this number. Therefore, we know how much it was the last time we came out. So we just take the difference and charge you for that difference, okay? So it's a very useful device. Now, you may have an electronic version which has a digital display, and it's probably a lot easier to read. You can probably press a few buttons depending on the meter and show exactly what the usage is. I'm going to talk about this mechanical one because it requires a knowledge of how to read it in order to get the numbers. The other ones probably come right up and show you directly. So for this meter, as I said, there's 5 dials here. And each dial provides a digit, and it's measuring kilowatt hours, okay? So let's start on the left-hand side. You can start on either side. But you can see that this first dial goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and back to 0, all right? So this first reading is more than 7, but it hasn't quite reached 8. So what you do is you write down 7. So this dial is reading 7 because it hasn't gotten to 8 yet. This next one goes in the opposite direction, counterclockwise. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's over 9, so we'll call it 9, all right? So now we've got 7, 9. The next one, 0, 1, 2, 3, hasn't gotten to 4 yet, so we'll call it 3. So we're 7, 9, 3. This next one, 0, 1, 2, 3, hasn't quite gotten to 4 yet, so we'll call it 3. So we're 7, 9, 3, 3. And the last one, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and it's right on 7. So the reading is 79337, okay? That's how many kilowatt hours this meter has read since the last time it got reset back to 0, all right? So since it's 79337, that means 79,337 kilowatt hours have been measured since this was reset. And since that's a big number, you can guess that it's probably been 10 years or so since this is reset, since that's 79,000 kilowatt hours or 79 megawatt hours, and it would probably take you 10 years to use that amount of energy. So anyway, you can go out right now to your meter, get your smartphone, take a photo, and go back in the house and look at the numbers and read them and write it down to see what the energy usage has been to that point in time. And then you can go out in an hour, you can go out in a day or a week or a month and see what the difference is to see how much you've used. So I did that. I went out first and got this 79337 number. And you can see it's the same as what we had before. So here it's 79337. And then I went out to the exact same meter 1 hour later to measure it. And as you can imagine, most of these digits are going to be the same because it's only 1 hour's worth of usage. So I went out and see this 7 is the same as before. This 9 is the same as before. The 3 is the same as before. The other 3 is the same as before. The only difference is this has gone from 7 to 8. So in that 1 hour, I've gone from 79337 to 79338, which means I have used 1 kilowatt hour in that time. So in 1 hour, it's like I've used 1 kilowatt continuously for 1 hour. So that makes sense. I mean, that's, 1 kilowatt is, some light bulbs, and maybe you turn the microwave on for a little bit. And so that's a reasonable number. So you can do that anytime. You can go out, take a photo of your meter, find out what the usage has been, and you can check it, from what it's been for 1 day or a week or a month or whatever. Now, there's another way to do it, and this will give you long-term trends. You can go out and read the meter, or you can log into your utilities website, and you can get the actual reading numbers that they got every time they came out to read your meter. So you know what they read and how much they charged you, and you can check to see if it's the correct number. All right. So here I have gone onto my utilities website, and I have grabbed the data that they have provided. It's basically what's called a CSV format. It's a data file, and it basically has the date and the reading. And what I've done is I've taken that simple data and put it into an Excel chart. And here's an Excel chart. And I have graphed the usage. And I've started out, it starts out from February of 2018 to January of 2020 over here on the right. So this is about 2 years worth of usage data. And it goes on this y-axis up to the number of kilowatt hours I have used, and each of these numbers is a monthly reading. Now, there are two graphs here. One is a dashed blue line that bounces around, and the other is a solid black line that is more consistent. Now, what's the difference? Well, the dashed line represents the readings that the utility has. Now, why are they so bouncing around? Well, in fact, with an electromechanical meter, with the older meters, like I said, they have to send somebody out to your house, look at the meter, write it down, and then go back and make a note, here's what the reading was. That takes a lot of manpower and a lot of time to go out every month to all of the thousands and thousands of customers to read the meter. So what they do to save time and make it more efficient is they say, okay, well, I'll read it 1 month, and then the next month I will estimate it based on previous usage. And then the month after that, I'll come out and read it again and clean up any disparity between what the estimate was and what the actual was. So every time you go out, you've got an actual reading, and an estimate just prolongs the time it takes to get the actual numbers. So at the end of the day, every couple months they true up the numbers, and you pay the exact number. So that's why you've got these numbers bouncing around here with the dashed lines. So what I also did is I took those numbers and I took a 2-month average. So for example, it went from 295 1 month, and then probably an estimate of 351 for the next month, and then 91 for the next month where they trued up the numbers, and then an actual 329 and a 19. So what I did is I took the average to try and get the actual numbers between the estimate and the actual number, and that's what this solid line is. So here's a 2-year span, and you can see that basically the numbers keep bouncing around 300 kilowatt hours per month. Each of the monthly readings, if you look here, the average is around 300 kilowatt hours. All right, it goes up to maybe 600, it goes down to almost zero, but it's somewhere around the average of 300 kilowatt hours. So if that is for 30 days, I can divide that by 30 and get 10 kilowatt hours of typical usage per day. Okay, 30 days times 10 kilowatt hours gives you 300. So my average consumption, daily consumption, is around 10 kilowatt hours. Okay, so it's a great way to look at long-term trends and what your typical usage is. And again, this is over a 2-year period, so it's pretty good. And you can also look at, as things change, if you're in a hot environment, you're going to use a lot of air conditioning in the summer. It's going to go up in the summer. If you're in a cold environment and maybe using some electric heat in the winter, it's going to go up in the winter. But at least you can get a really good idea about the actual numbers. And again, this is very easy to do. So there should be no excuse for not knowing, how much power I'm using at my home. So now let's say you want to measure individual appliances or your computer. You want to see how much energy a light bulb is taking, or a microwave, or a toaster oven, or your computer. It's very, very easy to do, and you can use a device similar to the ones I show here, which are about $30 devices. And they are very good at measuring the power usage, the watt-hour usage, or just the watts used by any appliance. And I've mentioned this in some of my other videos. You can do this for your computer if you want to see how much total power your computer is using, or any of your appliances. And it's really very easy to use. Here on the right, I show a Belkin. I don't think this is manufactured anymore. It's one I have. And you can see it's measuring the power usage of my computer, about 80 watts, just under normal conditions. On the left is one that I think is being actively sold, and it's a really nice one. It's one I would get if I was going to get a new one. And it measures, you can see, volts, amps, watts, frequency, kilowatt hours. Really a wonderful device. And these devices are, again, only maybe $30 to buy. You can go on Amazon. You can find this Killowatt. You can find other manufacturers. But again, it removes all doubt. It'll show you exactly, what the power usage of any component is. Now, using these things is very, very easy to do. It basically gets plugged in between your device and the wall outlet. So what you do is you just unplug your appliance from the wall, plug in, like in this case, I have a socket that I'm plugging in, or you plug in the device itself, plug that into the wall, and then plug your appliance into the device, and it will automatically read. Once you turn on the device, you power it on. As you can see in this case, I power on a toaster oven, and it will automatically read how much power is being used. In this case, 760 watts after I turn on my toaster oven. So again, I'm all about, learning and getting actual numbers and not kind of waving your hands and making believe you understand when you don't. It's really very easy. A lot of this stuff is very easy to get data and to really understand stuff a lot better. So I encourage you to use this as an opportunity to learn more about electricity and your power usage. So I hope this helps. Take care and have a really good day. Thanks.